They said forever, and left without warning. They made promises, and walked away as if none of it ever mattered. And now, you're here. Alone. Shattered. Trying to make sense of the pieces they left behind. This is the moment where the pain feels heavier than hope. Where your heart aches louder than the world around you. Where the silence they left behind is louder than every word they once said. But listen carefully. Because this is not the end. This is where the story truly begins. The sudden silence. You didn't expect it. Maybe the signs were there, but you kept believing in the love that once made you feel safe. And then, just like that, they were gone. No explanation that made sense. No apology that stitched the wounds. Only silence. And silence. It's a strange kind of grief. It's not just about losing someone. It's about losing yourself in the space they used to fill. You look around, and everything reminds you of them. Their laugh echoing in memories. Their words, both kind and cruel, replaying like a broken record. The songs. The smells. The texts you keep rereading, wondering what changed. The self-blame trap. The first lie you tell yourself is, "It's my fault." Maybe if you had loved harder. Maybe if you had looked better. Maybe if you hadn't said that one thing. But here's the truth they never told you. You are not the reason they couldn't stay. People leave not because you are unworthy, but because they are not ready to meet you at your depth. You showed up with your whole heart. They didn't know how to hold it. Blaming yourself is a reflex, but healing begins when you stop owning their failure as your flaw. Nights that last forever. It's always worse at night. When the world goes quiet, your thoughts get loud. You lie in bed staring at the ceiling, asking the same questions over and over again. Why did they leave? Did they ever really love me? Was any of it even real? And then the tears come. Not always loud, but always honest. Let them come. Let them flow. Because crying isn't weakness. It's proof that your heart still feels. And that's where the healing lives. Friends who don't understand. You try to talk to people. You explain how deep it hurts. But they don't always get it. They say things like, "You'll find someone better. Just move on. Time heals all wounds." But none of those words reach the ache in your soul. You don't need fixes. You need space to grieve. You need someone to sit beside you in the mess. Not sweep it under a rug of cliches. And if no one shows up, you show up for yourself. Again and again. The mirror moment. There comes a moment when you look in the mirror and don't recognize the person staring back. Eyes swollen from crying. Heart exhausted from breaking. Spirit barely holding on. But in that very mirror, beneath the pain, is someone still standing, still breathing, still hoping, even when it hurts. That person in the mirror, that's not someone broken. That's someone becoming. The echo of their absence. You keep checking your phone, half hoping, half dreading they'll message you. But all you see is silence. Their absence is louder than ever. And the truth begins to settle in your bones. They're not coming back. And though that truth stings, it also sets you free. Because now, you can stop waiting to be chosen. And start choosing yourself. You were always enough. They left. But that doesn't mean you were too much. Or not enough. Sometimes people walk away because they're not capable of holding something real. Your depth scared their shallowness. Your love highlighted their lack. Your consistency reminded them of their chaos. So they ran. Not from you, but from the mirror your love held up. And you were always enough. Even when they made you feel like you weren't. The quiet rebuild. Healing doesn't happen in loud, dramatic moments. It happens in the quiet. In the mornings when you get out of bed. Even though it feels impossible. In the moments you say no to texting them. And yes to reclaiming your peace. In the gentle choice to eat, sleep, breathe. Even when your soul feels heavy. These are the bricks that rebuild you. Slowly. Silently. Powerfully. The flashbacks that test you. Just when you think you're doing okay. A memory hits. Their smile. That song. that moment. And suddenly, it hurts all over again. That doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're healing. Healing isn't linear. It's layered. You don't erase them. You outgrow the version of yourself that needed them to survive. The beginning of the rise. This is where we pause. Right here, in this raw, painful, powerful place. Because you're not who you were when they left. And you're not yet who you're becoming. You're in the middle. And the middle matters. This is where your resilience is being born. Where your heart is learning how to beat for you. Where your soul is remembering its strength. They left you broken. But you're still here. And this is how you rise. There's a shift. It doesn't come with fireworks or fanfare. It comes quietly in the small, brave choices you make. To get up. To try again. To believe that there's more to your story than the pain that broke you. This is the awakening. The moment your soul whispers, "I'm not done yet." The power of stillness. In the beginning, silence was suffocating. Now, you begin to welcome it. Not all silence is empty. Sometimes, it's sacred. You sit in your room. No music, no messages, no distractions. Just you and your breath. And for the first time in a long time, you hear your own voice. The one that says, "You deserve better. You are healing. You are enough." Reclaiming your space. Their things are still in your drawer. Their scent still lingers on your favorite hoodie. There are old photos saved on your phone. And today you begin to let go. Not out of hate, but out of love for yourself. You box it all up. You hit delete. You clean, not just your room, but your energy. And when the space clears, you breathe deeper. Because you're no longer holding space for someone who let go of you. Finding beauty in the ordinary. It starts small. A warm cup of tea. The way the sunlight kisses the trees. A song that makes you sway without thinking. You begin to notice things again. Feel things again. It's not happiness, not yet. But it's presence. And presence is a powerful form of healing. The pain doesn't vanish. But the beauty begins to shine through it. Boundaries are a form of self-love. You used to let them come and go. Reply at 2 a.m. Apologize just to keep the peace. Sacrifice your joy for their comfort. But not anymore. Now you're learning the sacred word, no. And the empowering phrase, "I deserve more." Boundaries don't push love away. They protect it. They protect you. The voices in your head. You've lived with their voice in your head for so long. Telling you you're not enough. That you're hard to love. That you'll never find someone else. But now it's time to rewrite the script. You speak back. "I am enough. I am worthy. I don't need you to validate me." Every day you affirm your worth. Their voice grows quieter. And yours grows louder. Grief comes in waves, and that's okay. Just when you think you're healed, you break again. One memory, one scent, one dream. And suddenly the sadness rushes back in. But now, you don't drown. You float. You ride the wave instead of fearing it. Because you know it will pass. This is not backsliding. This is being human. Healing is not about pretending it doesn't hurt. It's about knowing you'll survive the ache, again and again. The universe starts responding. As your energy shifts, so does everything around you. New people show up. Opportunities unfold. Your mind gets clearer. Your heart gets lighter. The universe doesn't ignore pain, but it always answers truth. And the moment you start honoring yourself, the universe starts honoring you too. You meet yourself again. You stopped recognizing yourself after the heartbreak. But now, you look in the mirror and see sparks of who you used to be, and glimmers of who you're becoming. You laugh. You dance. You do things just because they bring you joy. You fall in love again. Not with someone else, but with your own soul. Forgiveness without closure. They never apologized. They never explained. And maybe they never will. But you're tired of carrying what they left behind. So you release it. Not because they deserve your forgiveness, but because you deserve your freedom. Forgiveness is not about letting them off the hook. It's about cutting the rope that's been weighing you down. And when you do, you feel lighter than you have in months. The quiet strength of the awakened. There's a strength you carry now. Not loud, not flashy, but solid, unshakable. People notice. They see it in your eyes, in the way you walk, in the way you no longer settle for half-loves or temporary attention. This is your awakening. You didn't just survive the heartbreak. You used it to rediscover your power. And now, the world better be ready, because a heart that heals itself becomes unstoppable. They thought leaving you would break you, but instead you found yourself. This is not just your comeback. This is your rebirth. Stronger, wiser, and more unapologetically you than ever before. This is your rise. And nothing, not even heartbreak, can stop it. A new fire inside. Something's different now. The ache in your chest. It's not pain anymore, it's power. There's a fire burning in you. Not the kind that destroys, but the kind that ignites. You don't chase closure. You don't beg for love. You become it. Every day, you wake up with a quiet determination. To rebuild. To rise. To thrive. You're no longer waiting to be chosen. Once upon a time, you waited for their text. Their approval. Their love. Not anymore. Because now you choose yourself. You no longer measure your worth by someone else's attention. You no longer shrink to fit their comfort. You take up space. You speak up. You walk away from what doesn't grow you. Because being chosen by them was never the goal. Becoming you, that was the point all along. You attract what you now embody. When you were broken, you attracted the broken. Now that you're healing, you attract wholeness. New people enter your life. Not to complete you, but to complement you. Not to fix you, but to see you. Because the energy you carry now, it's magnetic. You radiate boundaries, strength, softness, and depth. You don't settle for crumbs when you know you are the feast. You become your own safe place. You used to rely on them for safety. Now, you've created that safety within yourself. When you're anxious, you hold yourself gently. When you're uncertain, you trust your instincts. When you're lonely, you fill your own cup. You stop looking outward for what you've built inward. And that kind of peace, it can't be shaken. You rewrite the love story. The old story said love meant sacrifice. That you had to lose parts of yourself to be loved. That love was something earned, not felt freely. But not anymore. Now, love is truth. It's reciprocity. It's expansion. You don't chase love anymore. You become it in how you show up. How you treat yourself. And what you now allow. This time, the love you accept will mirror the love you've given yourself. You honor the wound without living in it. You no longer pretend the heartbreak never happened. You don't erase the memory. You honor it. It shaped you, refined you, cracked you open so the light could get in. But it no longer controls you. Now, it's just a chapter. A powerful one, but not the whole story. You carry the scar, but not the pain. And that is growth. You become a lighthouse for others. Something beautiful happens when you heal. You become a guide for others. People come to you, drawn to your strength, your calm, your wisdom. You don't just tell them they'll be okay. You are the proof that they will be. You rise not just for yourself, but for the ones who still think they're drowning. You are the voice you once needed. And now, you give that gift freely. You no longer fear the fall. Heartbreak used to scare you. Now, you welcome the lessons pain offers. You know that losing someone isn't the end. It's often the beginning. You trust life again. Not because it's perfect, but because you've learned that you are resilient. You can fall and still rise. You can lose and still love. You can break and still rebuild yourself better. And that kind of courage makes you unstoppable. You see love everywhere again. You stopped closing yourself off. You allowed joy to seep back in. You smile at strangers. You laugh deeply again. You say I love you not with desperation, but with freedom. Because love is not just found in romance. It's in friendships, in sunsets, in music, in the way your own heart keeps beating, against all odds. And when love shows up again, you'll greet it without fear, because you've already found it within. The unbreakable you. You've walked through fire. You've cried oceans. You've shattered and rebuilt. Again and again. And now, here you are. Not bitter. Not cold. But wiser. Stronger. Unbreakable. They left you broken. But look at you now. Rising. Radiating. Ready. Because this is your story. And you get to write the ending. You never expected them to leave. Not them. Not the one who said, "I'll never hurt you." But they did. And they didn't leave slowly. They vanished. As if love could be deleted like a message. You were left staring at your phone. Scrolling through old conversations. Trying to find the exact moment when love turned into silence. The night everything changed. It wasn't one big fight. It wasn't even dramatic. Just a shift, subtle, but loud in the gut. A missed call. A message left on read. A kiss that didn't feel like home anymore. You noticed. But you told yourself, maybe they're just tired. Maybe I'm overthinking again. You excused it. Because that's what love does, it defends the ones who break us. The apology that never came. You kept waiting. For a knock on your door. A phone call. A message that said, "I'm sorry. I was scared. I didn't know what I was doing." But all you got was silence. And in that silence, you heard every word they didn't say. They never explained. They never apologized. And the silence, it screamed. The lie we tell ourselves. The worst part, you blamed yourself. You whispered things like, "Maybe I was too clingy. Maybe I should have been easier to love. Maybe I'm just not good enough." You took their inability to love you as evidence that you're unlovable. But here's what they don't tell you. Someone's decision to walk away says more about their wounds than it ever will about your worth. The pain no one sees. Everyone thinks you're okay. You smile at work. You post on Instagram. You nod when your friend says, "You'll meet someone better." But at night, you collapse. You hold your chest like it's the only thing keeping your heart from spilling out. You scream into pillows. You whisper their name like it still means something. And no one sees it. No one knows. Because pain like this lives in the quiet places. Beneath your ribs. Inside your lungs. In the spaces where your laughter used to be. The flashbacks you can't control. It could be a song. A cologne. The way someone laughs across the street. Suddenly, you're back in their arms. It's not a memory, it's a storm. And it rips through you like it just happened yesterday. You try to fight it. But grief doesn't care about your schedule. It shows up. Uninvited. And it demands to be felt. The questions that haunt you. Did they ever really love me? Were the good moments real? Why wasn't I enough? You ask these questions in the dark, hoping the ceiling might whisper back an answer. But sometimes the most painful part of heartbreak is that there is no closure. No explanation. Just empty air and a broken heart trying to breathe. The mirror you avoid. You used to look in the mirror and see someone in love. Now you see the aftermath. Eyes tired. Hope bruised. A version of yourself you don't recognize. But here's the thing. The mirror doesn't just reflect pain. It reflects survival. If you're still standing, still breathing, still trying, then you're already more powerful than you think. The moment you almost texted, you reached for your phone, typed, "I miss you," hovered over send, your thumb shaking. You told yourself, maybe if I say the right thing, they'll come back. Maybe they're just waiting for me to break first. But you didn't send it. You stared at the message, and then you hit backspace. Because deep down you knew, if someone really cared, you wouldn't have to beg for their presence. The friend who says the wrong thing, they mean well, but when they say, "Everything happens for a reason. Just get over it. You're too strong to be sad." You smile politely, but inside, you're screaming. You don't need advice. You need space. You need someone to sit in the dark with you and say, "I don't have answers, but I'm not going anywhere." That kind of love is rare, but it exists. And until someone gives it to you, give it to yourself. The moment you realize they're not coming back, there's a shift. Not a dramatic one, but deep. You wake up, check your phone, and for the first time, you're not hoping for a message from them. You stop searching the crowd for their face. Stop replaying their voice in your head. Not because you're over them, but because you're tired. You thought the story ended when they walked away, but what you didn't know was that the best part hadn't even begun. Because heartbreak doesn't just break you, it introduces you to you. And this is the moment when you finally stop asking, "Why didn't they love me?" and start saying, "Why didn't I love myself more?" This is the turning point. The day you don't cry. It's not planned. You're brushing your teeth, scrolling your feed, doing the normal things. And suddenly you realize, you haven't cried today. No lump in your throat. No tears behind your eyes. It doesn't mean the pain is gone. It means you're learning how to carry it without letting it drown you. Small joys hit different. You laugh, genuinely. Maybe it's a silly video, or your friend's bad joke. And it hits you. That laugh was real. You catch yourself smiling in the mirror. Not because you're pretending, but because for a second, you felt good. This is the soul remembering itself. Piece by piece, you start saying no. You used to be afraid of disappointing people. Used to say yes just to feel needed, to be chosen. But now, something's changed. You say no to the text from someone who only calls at night. No to the apology that's 2 years too late. No to people who only want parts of you, not the whole soul. And each no becomes a yes to yourself. You clean out your closet, literally and emotionally. The hoodie they left behind? Gone. The photos? Deleted. The playlist that once made you weep? Removed. And as you clear the clutter, your heart starts to breathe. You realize you've been carrying someone who wasn't meant to stay. And now, you're letting go. Not with hate, but with a calm, quiet, sacred kind of grace. You set a new standard. You used to settle for breadcrumbs, for hot and cold love, for someone who never made you feel fully seen. But now you want more. You demand more. Not out of ego, but out of clarity. Because once you realize your worth, you stop entertaining anything that confuses it. You rebuild the relationship with yourself. You take yourself out to eat. Not because you're lonely, but because you enjoy your own company. You write in your journal, not to vent, but to listen to your own voice again. You do things not to prove you're over it, but because you're building a life that doesn't revolve around them. This is what choosing yourself looks like. Intentional, quiet, powerful. You catch yourself daydreaming again. For a while, all you could imagine was them. Their face in your future. Their voice in your plans. But one day, your daydream changes. You imagine traveling, launching a business, falling in love again, this time with someone who meets you at your level. And just like that, you start falling in love with life again. The ghost still visits. But you're different now. You still think of them sometimes. In the quiet, in the music, in your dreams. But you don't break anymore. You don't reach for your phone. You don't wonder if they miss you. Because now you understand. Missing someone doesn't mean you belong with them. You can honor the memory and still move forward. You redefine love. Love used to mean sacrifice. Now it means reciprocity. It means peace, safety, depth. It means someone who matches your energy, not drains it. Someone who makes you feel free, not afraid. You stop romanticizing chaos. You stop confusing anxiety for chemistry. You finally know what love is. Because you've learned how to give it to yourself. You finally choose you. This isn't a grand finale. It's a quiet revolution. You don't need revenge. You don't need them to regret losing you. You just need this moment, where you look in the mirror, and for the first time in a long time, you say, I'm proud of you. I forgive you. I love you. Because you chose you. And that was the turning point all along. They left because they couldn't handle your depth, your loyalty, your power. And for a while, you believed that made you less. But what if it made you more? What if the heartbreak wasn't a breaking, but a becoming? This is the power point. The moment your pain transforms into purpose. And you stop just surviving. You start soaring. You're no longer the person who was left. The version of you they walked away from, she doesn't live here anymore. You've evolved. You've peeled back layers they never took the time to see. You've grown into someone who no longer waits for love. You are love. You're no longer chasing closure. You're closing the chapter yourself. With dignity and grace. You walk into every room like you belong. You used to shrink. Hold your breath. Speak softer so you wouldn't seem too much. But now, you walk in like the main character. Because you are. You don't explain your value anymore. You live it. You breathe it. You finally know. Being too much for them was exactly what makes you perfect for you. You create new standards for love. No more mixed signals. No more half-effort affection. No more begging to be chosen. Now your love is sacred. A two-way street. Overflowing. Bold. Safe. And anyone who enters your world must come correct. Or not at all. Because loving you is not a privilege for the careless. It's a gift for the brave. Your peace becomes untouchable. You've built a life that doesn't need chaos to feel alive. You protect your mornings. You guard your energy. You move with intention. And when people try to pull you back into old patterns, you don't argue. You don't chase. You just exit. Because peace isn't passive. It's powerful. You start inspiring others. People start to notice. How did you get through that breakup? How are you so calm? You look different, happier. And you smile. Not because life is perfect, but because you finally made peace with imperfection. You're not just healing for you.